Alright then everyone, time for another video, and this is going to be the first of my Warlords of Draenor class feedback videos. Now this isn't going to cover the entire class, actually most videos will probably just be focused on specs that I find particularly interesting, but the goal is that I'm going to cover every single spec that I play on live, and then after that I'm going to start learning new specs, and I'll essentially just be giving you my thoughts on how they play, the various mechanics, and what I think of some of the Warlords of Draenor changes, and just various things like that. I think this should just help you get an idea, and if one of these videos pops up for a class that you don't play, all I'm going to say is just be sure that you watch it, because really, you know, over the last while, just even watching Preach's like videos about sort of retrospectives, that got me into a lot more classes, and I've been having a lot more fun in the game. So let's start talking about the Marksmanship Hunter. Now I've got to say, this is not a spec that I have played in live, basically, right, since a little bit of Cataclysm, but mostly since Wrath of the Lich King. I don't know why, but I was just stuck on playing BM and SV for essentially the last, like, 3-4 years, whatever. So this actually came as a pretty big sort of shock to me when I played this. I always just, for some reason, wrote off MM. I have no idea why. After playing it, though, I've got to say, it's likely my favorite Hunter spec. I just love how it plays. I love its abilities, I love how focus plays in, and there's a lot of stuff going on with this class in Warlords of Draenor that just really, really helps out. Alright, so first of all, I talked about focus, and yeah, the focus costs of things are a little bit higher than they are for the other Hunter specs. So your main, like, method of burning off your excess focus is aim shot. Aim shot's like a 3-second cast, it does a big wad of damage, and it costs 50 focus. Then your next one is Chimera Shot. I believe it's got a base cost of 45 or 50 focus, but that's actually reduced via Draenor perk. And then, of course, you regenerate your focus using Steady Shot. And then, you know, you have Glaive Toss and all those other little abilities, but they're really your three sort of bread and butter main abilities that you use. And the really cool thing about them, right, is because the focus costs are so high in comparison to what I've been used to, they just kind of mean that it doesn't feel particularly spammy. And in terms of how you plan out your focus, I really enjoyed it, especially at level 90 when I had a more expensive Chimera Shot. So, you know, what's going to happen is, every time you do an aim shot and then a Chimera Shot, you need to start steady shotting again, and because of the cast time on aim shot, you need to be sure that you're not capping out focus, and there's a lot of intricate little timing-based gameplay there that just basically means that you really can squeeze out a lot more efficiency from this spec if you ensure that you spend all of your focus without capping or doing any silly stuff like that. It's really cool actually how the expensive focus cost means that they can get more depth than I'd say most 3-button setups. Now of course there are more than 3 buttons, you've also got your Glaive Toss or other talent, your Kill Shot, Multi-Shot, Dire Beast, and Rapid Fire is of course your main cooldown as this spec. And overall, I think all that stuff works fantastically. Really, I just can't wait until they enable add-ons on the beta so that I can actually use a decent focus bar and not the crappy default Blizzard one. Because tracking your focus and making sure that you spend that all correctly is an extremely important part of playing this class well. Alright then, so it's time to talk about their mastery. And I've got to say, their mastery is definitely one of the best parts about this spec. So it's called Sniper Training, and basically what happens is that when you stand still, you get a buff. This buff will increase your damage dealt, your crit strike damage, and your shot range. Now, on my level 92 Hunter, it's an 8% increase to my damage dealt, crit strike, and my shot range. I really love that increase in the range of your shots, though, because that actually really does affect your gameplay. If you can position yourself well at a place that's maybe 50 yards from the boss, you'll still be able to shoot, because of a Draenor perk that actually increases your baseline shot range to, I think, it's to 40 yards, and then just the way things work, you can stand really far back and still be able to shoot. So Sniper Training is great, and it's nice that it's sort of, you know, rewarding the Marksmanship Hunter for standing still, and it actually puts a little bit more skill back into the game, because when you start moving, you don't instantly lose Sniper Training, no, you get a 5-second basically countdown on, and after that 5 seconds it will disappear, and you'll need to stand still again to get it back up. So if you can, you know, position yourself well and time your movements so that you're never really moving for more than maybe 2 or 3 seconds, then you can get 100% Sniper Training uptime. So if you are a skilled MM Hunter that's really good at positioning, you'll be able to maximize the uptime of this mastery and it's just this really fantastic interactive bit of gameplay that is, in my opinion, absolutely bloody awesome. Now, it also interacts really well with one of the talents for the beast, or not the beast mastery, the marksmanship hunter. Wow, sometimes I swear I just lose my mind halfway through videos. But before we cover talents, I just want to have a quick little word about range. Your range is pretty crazy. I mean, right now my kill shot range, while I'm standing still, my level 92 character is 64 yards, though that's just because it's kill shot. As for everything else, like say my aim shot, 49 yards, steady, you know, all my other shots, 49 yard range. I mean, damn, that is so cool. You know, it feels like you are a marksmanship hunter. You are standing back, you're using your sniper training, and you're just picking things off from afar. I think that's really nice, and okay, maybe it won't be useful in all raid situations, but I still like it. Now, when I move my character, just as an example, that aimed shot goes from 45 yards down to, or 49 yards down to 45, so yeah, it's just nice the way that you can combine the two. So that range thing really does feel great, and I remember there was this one time I was fighting a world boss, and I'll probably have a video up on that at some point, but the world boss had this like 40-yard range crazy AoE that was just murdering people because we didn't really have a good healer setup. Like, we were level 90 characters fighting level 100 world boss, but what actually happened is I just stood so far away, and I think I was about 48 yards away, and that was the sweet spot where I could still shoot at it, and it wouldn't hit me with its AoE. And there's just lots of little things like that honestly, I don't care about balance right now. Just from an actual gameplay perspective, it was rewarding and fun. So if they can take that rewarding and fun aspect and then just ensure that it's balanced, I will be very happy. Now also, we have talents to talk about. So the talents are overall actually pretty cool. I've heard from just one thing actually, the Thrill of the Hunt kind of messes this class up, because one of the main things about it is that it's about spending your focus well and making sure that you manage your cast time spells so that you never cap focus. Well, what Thrill of the Hunt does is, of course, it means that you have a 30% chance when you use a focus costing attack to reduce the focus cost of your next 3 arcane shots, aim shots, or multi-shots by 20. So apparently, with Thrill of the Hunt, you can just make it so that honestly you don't really need a steady shot too much. I don't know how that's going to feel, but if that turns it into a 2-button spec in terms of Chimera and aimed, I'll be pretty sad. However, let's talk about the level 100 talent. So I've got to say, exotic munitions, like, okay, it's fine, but I just think it's dull. The same goes for Lone Wolf. It's nice to have that option, but it's not the one that I'd ideally like to use. What I would ideally like to use is Focusing Shot. This is, in my opinion, one of the best talents they have made for the Hunter. So this has got your regular long range, 2.5 second cast time, which I believe is it's about a second more than Steady Shot. It's got a cool spell effect, but what it does is it lines up a shot at the target that deals 100% weapon damage, and it focuses you, generating 50 focus. Right, so this is a shot that gives you a lot more focus than Steady Shot and Cobra Shot. Now, that just opens up avenues, you know, because every time that you fire off a focusing shot, that basically means you can use that focus immediately on an aimed shot, and then because of all that cast time, you probably will have generated enough focus to use, say, a glaive toss or Chimera shot before you have to use focusing shot again. And I just think it's really awesome that way. I don't know, I like how it changes up your resource mechanic. I love it when talents and things like that just play around with your class's resources. And now for the crazy thing about focusing shot. Well, not the crazy thing, the great thing. It cannot be cast while moving, right? So if you spec into focusing shot and have a mastery build, then you're going to have crazy sniper training, you're going to have your awesome focusing shot, you are going to be prioritizing standing still, and because you can still pull 100 focus and then, you know, cast aim shot while you're moving, before sniper training falls off, because of that you can still move, but it's nearly like a light version of the stutter step gameplay that a lot of hunters used to enjoy back in the day. And I just gotta say, guys, I'm really happy. I really am enjoying this spec. I think it's an absolute blast. So, well done, Blizzard, you've certainly made me happy. Now, I'm not too sure about the other specs, I haven't tried SV that much, and BM just felt a little bit dull, so honestly, providing that it's competitive, I think I might want to be playing Marksmanship when Warlords of Draenor comes out. Now, I have done a little bit of PvP, and it seemed fine. It was just random pugs, and we kept on going against gladiator stance warriors, and, like, blood DKs and things like that, which just wouldn't die. It was all very strange. but from a PvP perspective, it sounded fine. Honestly, I didn't think there was anything crazy about it. You can run around with Lone Wolf and not have to deal with a pet. You could put on exotic munitions to get the slow in your enemy. I don't think focusing shots very good for PvP at all. So just overall, I think it's a really just solid class, at least from a PvE perspective. That's the only thing I can really talk with any degree of authority about. Anyway, so that's it for my opinions on this class. Overall, I'm extremely happy. Let me know what you think about the things that I've talked about in this video. Are you kind of hyped up to try out MM? A pro tip, you probably should be. And yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.